Every major collapse in history began with the same words. Everything is under control, from Rome to Wall Street, from banks to empires. They all fell the moment people stopped asking questions. And right now, we're repeating the pattern. This isn't just about money. This is about power shifting hands, quietly, globally, and permanently. On the surface, everything seems fine. The US stock market bounced back after COVID. Tech giants are hiring again. The dollar looks strong, but that's just the surface. Beneath it lies a shaky foundation of policies, debts, and decisions that are pushing America and the world toward a silent economic cliff. It started years ago with tariffs, big, bold, aggressive moves that were supposed to protect local jobs. But instead, they triggered a global domino effect that's now spiraling out of control. Tariffs were meant to make America great again. Instead, they sparked trade wars with China, with Europe, even with allies. And when you slap tariffs on steel, aluminum, electronics, you don't just hit foreign suppliers. You hit your own manufacturers. The cost of production goes up, prices rise, companies cut costs, jobs vanish. And while the political slogans echoed on TV, the real economy, the one that feeds families, began to suffocate. The signs were always there. The stock market, once booming, started swinging violently. In a matter of weeks, over $7 trillion was wiped from the markets. Companies like Meta, Amazon, and Tesla lost billions overnight. But the bigger shock? US government bonds, the safest investment on earth, also started falling. This wasn't just a dip. This was a warning, a signal that even the most stable systems were cracking. Usually, in a crisis, investors run to gold, to bonds, to the dollar. But this time, nowhere felt safe. Gold fluctuating, crypto crashed. Even the US dollar began showing signs of weakness. As the global debt balloon expanded, it wasn't just an economic problem anymore. It was a confidence crisis. And that's the most dangerous kind. Because when America stumbles, the world gets hurt. Countries dependent on US imports and exports began collapsing under rising costs. Supply chains shattered. Fuel prices surged. Developing nations faced inflation levels not seen in decades. And while leaders gave speeches, ordinary people struggled with food, fuel, and fear. This wasn't just about recession anymore. It was global economic fragmentation, a slow collapse of a system we all relied on. In the past, when crises hit, the Federal Reserve came to the rescue by printing money, cutting interest rates, buying time. But now, inflation's too high. Printing money just adds fuel to the fire. So what does the Fed do? Raise interest rates. But here's the problem. The higher the rates, the harder it becomes for companies and consumers to borrow, grow, or survive. And just like that, the medicine becomes the poison. As of today, America's national debt is over $34 trillion. That's more than the entire GDP of the country. And guess what? It's still rising every single second. Interest payments alone are eating up massive portions of the budget, meaning less money for healthcare, education, infrastructure, or saving the economy during the next crisis. This isn't a future problem. It's happening now. Meanwhile, other powers are watching, waiting, and moving. China, Russia, India. They're building trade systems that don't depend on the dollar. Oil deals in yuan, banking systems bypassing SWIFT, and whispers of a new world currency. If the dollar loses its dominance, America loses its biggest weapon, its power, its control. So why isn't this all over the news? Because crisis doesn't sell unless it's obvious. Until banks collapse and people riot, they'll keep calling it a correction. Market fluctuations, temporary. But we've seen this movie before, and we know how it ends. This isn't about panic. It's about awareness. Because the next crisis won't look like 2008. It won't be loud. It won't be obvious. It'll be slow, silent, systemic. And by the time you realize it's here, it might already be too late.